So I want to just greet everyone, say welcome. This is a beautiful free class, an opportunity to hear about Nina, the founder of the New Earth Movement's relationship with the Divine Mother. So Nina has been on a sacred initiatory path and dedicated devotee to the Mother for over 23 years. And during this offering, Nina will share about her personal journey with the Mother and expand on the initiatory steps into her mysteries as a way to really align and immerse oneself deeper into her presence, guidance, and love. So I just want to give thanks and just also from my heart really acknowledge how the way that you've had the courage and the way that you've really listened and been true to the messages of the Mother, how that's really opened up her portal for so many of us, in the way that that's really been a guidepost and really just a doorway that's opened up our own relationship, so many people's individual relationship with the Mother, which is such a gift to really everything and everyone, into the Mother, into creation. So just giving thanks, welcoming you, Nina, and really looking forward to what you have to share with us tonight.
Thank you for that introduction and just for even saying that, because that's been a really big part of my path with the Mother, is listening. And I would say another attribute is to be really humble and curious and pure and innocent. Because when she first started coming through, and I'll go through a longer journey of it, but just to be, I was very innocent and dedicated to the truth and to the divine, and I followed the steps, and by following the steps, this has all kind of come into being. That's how gracious she is. And so thank you for that. And just looking at all of you on this screen and seeing how many people have come to join into the vortex of the legacy of peace, and all of the testimonies and the stories, and the genuine encounters with the truth of her through us coming together in this way has been so profound. We can and we will write a book about it, because it's really bringing her messages alive by coming into communion with her and really sharing our experiences of that authentic connection that happens when we listen. So thank you again, Mika, and thank you to the community. I just want to acknowledge everybody who showed up tonight live on the screen to be with us. You're really dedicated, I would say, initiates of the Mother, because you've really heard the call and keep coming. And mountains are moving in the process because her love moves. And also, if you're not here live with us, we're welcoming you, whoever's listening to this, to really join in and really just feel the frequency, because her frequency is alive in everything, everywhere, at all times. But especially when we come together, even just in putting it on the calendar to do this, some magic happens. So I will just start off. This is a short class, a short share, I should say, of just giving a little bit of a background of my own personal path that has opened the doorway to what we are bringing together in community. And so I always try to, I haven't found the exact date, but I'm going to say it's been about 23 years where I first started to receive. Well, first I want to say, before that, I was always, in connection with something greater and seeking as a little child, looking at the stars, knowing there was more, and loving Mother Earth. And, maybe most people were gravitating towards the bigger parties, and I'd be at the parties as a young kid, but always going outside to be with the river or something to help me to remember what was inherent within And, as I started going deeper on the path of seeking and finding great teachers and opening up my heart more and more to more of the authentic truth of who I am, I started to receive messages from her. Well, messages I didn't really even understand it was from her. But one of my first messages, some years ago, probably about 23 years ago, I heard a message to make rosary beads. And I was kind of like, huh? Like, I think you have the wrong person. Because I was not really particularly religious at all. I was raised Catholic and really rebelled against organized religion, especially as I started seeking in the path and going more into earth-based teachings and lots of other things that, however, I had such a love for God and the divine that when I heard that message, it caught my attention because it was that soft, loving voice that came through. And it was like, okay, what does that mean? Even though it's like, that sounds weird. Okay, how do I do this? What do I do? And then I stayed open and I I will make this a shorter version, but I started to take the steps in the direction of following that first message. And that first message turned into more messages, dreams, sleeping dreams, and the waking dream that was all giving me information of how to actually go forward and to make rosary beads out of fresh red roses. So it was through dreams, and then it was through like bumping into people auspiciously, and then having a dream and following where the roses were growing wild up in Oak Creek Canyon. And it was a long, beautiful story. Anyway, I followed the call, and I started to learn through my research and my dreams that yes, in fact, it's true. You can make rosary beads out of fresh rose petals. And that was just kind of blowing me away that I was getting the dreams and the messages. And then I was finding out by other people, special people that I auspiciously ran into, that this is an old technique based in ancient Egypt. And also still around today, very rarely, that they're made from the actual 100% organic material. So I went through the process back then of going forward and picking these rose petals, as I said, very innocently, picking them at wild roses, not even they're really small. I say that because it takes a lot of rose petals to make one rose bead. But I had at that first step of following the call, about 5 garbage bags of rose petals, and they came alive. I will just say this: in the all the rose petals in the bag started, the aroma and the frequency started to bring me to another level of receiving her messages and kind of going deeper into her communion, into communion with her grace, really. And with a story that unfolded, like I would say, it was like a love story, really. It was like this melody that was playing music to my soul and to my heart, and that was purifying me and making me new, like just moving me with love and opening me up and purifying me to the point where I started to feel this cosmic embrace, and where she really came alive. She really came alive, and it was beyond any kind of religion or dogma. It's like I had an encounter with the mother of God, with the mother of creation, and with the type of love that was beyond any kind of human love that we kind of equate love to. It was divine love. And so it was a process really in making the rosary beads. I'll just say, by taking those 5 bags of fresh wild rose petals, I went to my little humble home in Oak Creek Canyon at the time, where I was living on the river, really living in national wilderness. It was a special time in my life where I would say, in an initiation myself. I was going through a mystery school. I was just breaking down beliefs and barriers and humbly uh, opening and communing with Mother Nature and letting go, letting go. That was a big piece of it, letting go. And every time I would let go, I would open. It was like the flower would open more and more. And I would listen, which is another message from the mother. She's very, receptive. She's the feminine principle of the divine, the mother of creation, the mother of everything. And so she was helping me to come into more of a feminine stance of receptivity, of letting go, of surrendering. And so I'm kind of weaving this all in because in sharing this story, these are properties that she brings forward that are keys to unlock us into the sanctions of her divinity and her love that resides within us. So she really, through this process of making these rose beads, which I just thought was like a fun, silly like message, became an initiatory pathway. And so I went home in my beautiful, humble home on Oak Creek Canyon with the river. And I'm just painting the picture because it was a beautiful, picturesque, humble experience in my life. And, um, you know, making like very earnest in following the call and making these rose beads, which I blended, and it's really all pure with water, which is the element that represents the mother, the sacred holy waters, and her petals, and a little bit of the rose essential oil I was guided to add, which isn't even necessary. And in the process of blending them after that, and there was countless prayers and devotion. I mean, I was just like she became like, in making in this project, it was like I was giving birth to something. It was like my baby. I started like cooking them, slow cooking, which I thought maybe it would happen overnight. And that's another fun cosmic joke. But she taught me patience because it was weeks upon weeks until it slow cooked enough until it turned into a paste. But it was a big crock pot of this color. I wore this color purposely tonight because this is the color that it turns into. First this amazing red rose is like obviously the color. And if you look in here, you could see you could see the wooing and the cave of her mysteries. It says so much. You could see and feel her frequency, the softness, the sweetness, the opening, the love, the purity, the power, the grace, the beauty. Anyway, it starts at this color red and it turns into this color. It's so amazing. And so it was in a big crock pot and I prayed over it every day. And for days turned into weeks. And, her love that came in, she's the formless, but it was like I felt like this big formless embrace of a mother that held me in a way that is beyond words. And I kept getting messages, more messages, and songs, and I would say instructions for how to live your life in a way where you can have access to this divine the divine sanctions of divine love, which is who I am. It's who you are. We're not separate from that love. And that's what she was teaching me. And through the process, she was teaching me patience. She was teaching me that I had to let go. She was teaching me how to trust. I mean, so many things in this process of just making those. And then, okay, so this big pot of fresh rose paste, that the aroma filled the room and the frequency. And I kept having dreams. And I kept feeling the embrace. But then after the let's say 5 weeks, it turned into like this big crock pot into like this much paste. And I was like, what? Okay, now what? And it didn't stay this color. I tried to keep it that color, but it didn't. And it turned like black, which, because it's organic material and with the oxygen, it turned black, which is like the void, right? It's like it's the cave of her mystery. It's like in that dark void of creation is where we can find her, in the stillness of the void. So there were so many messages that she kept teaching me. I can't control it, like you can't keep that color. That's to, so this was my own initiatory path of letting go and diving into the feminine mysteries of her love. And I hand rolled each one. She told me I would get a sacred number. I got 144 the first time I ever made it. And she said that I was going to be bringing these to the world, to bless the world, to feel her presence, and to really start a mission where people can come and to receive her, and to break free of the dogma, to break free of the old stories and masks and the dogma of religion that have her in a box, to help people to break free and to discover who they truly are, not separate from her love. And by following that call, I just started to, and she also told me to bring people to the Basilica, to follow the path of the rose, to bring people there. And so since then, it's been a journey of just saying, yes, yes, mother, yes, mother. Let me just go forward. Let me start this legacy. Let me start. It began to be a private, let's say, private project. Like I was like, in my little home, and only a few people knew, and only a few people were touching the paste, two of my goddaughters, and at that time. And then it was like it started to grow, and some years later I heard to do a ceremony in her honor and bring it to the community. And we started with a women's circle, and she started to give more messages about the legacy and about the initiatory path and the next scale that this would go to bring to the world. Their healing with their own biological mother issues, so they can learn how to love in the way that the true mother loves. And so that's the small end of the opening, but I say that to share the following of the path, what it did for me. It humbled me and it opened me up to the sweetness, and really to recognize my own purity in the path of the heart, and my connection with that intuitive, receptive power of love and of grace, and of really tapping into the mother of creation, and offering classes and offering meditations and offering all these things that actually gave us as a community instructions of how to, all these different paths that can lead to her. And as Monica was saying in the beginning of this introduction, she was saying, thanking me for doing this because how many other people have been touched. And, I'm so grateful to the mother and to everyone who's come, and even to the innocence of saying yes to this, because in the true encounters of those who have walked this path that come forward and share their stories and their testimonies and their tears, and their healings and their communions and their songs and their transmissions, their channels that are opening, and their recognition of the truth of who the mother is and their restoration of faith. Wow. It's so powerful and so moving. And it's like fuel to keep going and keep moving forward on this project. And, you know, I'm moved and I'm inspired because we're creating a community of people that are feeling, that are drawn to the path of the mother for some reason. It could be that, like, in the past, it was religion and knowing that that, you know, was kind of a little bit of a box and they wanted to move beyond it, or just feeling like needing the healing of the heart, or feeling wanting to have a connection with the feminine principle. I mean, we're alive in a time, and this message has been coming through for a long time. You know, it's the return of the mother. It's time of the return of the mother. And everything has been out of balance, Mother Earth. And, you know, we are craving to come alive to the truth that's inherent within, that is our birthright, that is who we truly are. And in a world that has gone off balance, you know, all of the ways that we've been trained to push and to go ahead of ourselves and to control, and we've lost balance, we've lost connection, we've lost touch with that inner quietude and the silent voice and the intuition and the way to receive. You know, we're just out of balance with pushing or giving or trying or controlling. And she's teaching us that it's right here. We could soften our voice. We could soften our whole stance, like our everything, our internal stance. It's like this. We could let go and receive the mysteries that are alive right here within us. Or we can calm the storm. There's so much chaos outside in the world in this time. To follow, you know, the ways in which we can bring inner peace and calm the inner waters, we have access to love, which is who we are. And so she is the bringer of peace. She is the mother of creation. And she's come to the planet in so many different forms, in different cultures, where I would say that she's kind of worn the beautiful mask to bring to the culture the way in which they needed to receive her, meaning like the different ways of that she's appeared to the saints, to the children, that she's come in a certain way to show herself, but she's formless and all powerful. And beyond the ways in which she has come in her apparitions, beyond the ways that the human mind has seen her, there's a common denominator of the presence that she brings, which is love and peace. And the spirit and the command for unity and peace. She's come in all over cultures to bring that message of peace and a way to unify the people, to help everyone to realize that we're one. She's the mother of creation. All children are one. There's no color, there's no race, there's no such thing. And I'm talking about beyond even this planet. I'm talking about the mother of all. And so for us to receive that, we have to move beyond the form and understand that common denominator that we all are, which is love, which is peace, and which is that constant message that she has been bringing to all different cultures at all different times, and to build churches in her name, to pray, to to unify the people, to help them to recognize that they are one. And I would say that that's what we're doing here at a New Earth Movement with this legacy that really I was moved to create, but really she was the impetus behind this, to create a legacy in her name where people could come and pray and just enter into a container with the intention of being with her. The magic happens. The tears come, the purity, the rain comes almost every time. The songs, the messages, the healing, the influx of, and the healing of all the wounding that has kept us from thinking that we're separate from her. It just happens in the container of the legacy of peace, or in now, since we've created these rosary beads, and we've since started to do it in a bigger, every year it gets bigger and bigger. I'll say that. It started with me doing it in Oak Creek Canyon, to that when I started to do that first one in community. And now, and every year since, it's gotten bigger and bigger, till when we're doing, in the month of May, which is when it's always been, we are doing at least 1,000 roses and singing and praying to her and making rose paste in community, in song, in prayer. It's amazing. And we're always growing and getting to the next level of this May, wanting to bring this to the world in a larger scale, because this is what she keeps saying, is that she wants this project to get out to the world so that people could heal, so people can heal the wounding, the wounding of the feminine, the wounding of the masculine, the wounding of the heart, and come back to peace, and come back to unity consciousness, and come back to love. And in the process, come together. And in the process, sing. And in the process, restore our joy and surrender. And realize that we have access into these mysteries. This is the powerful piece, that as we are doing these classes, and she's literally giving steps, like an initiatory pathway of ways in which we can transform and have access into the portals of her mystery. And so with that, I want to say, because it looks like we're coming out of time, she lives within us. We're not separate from her. This is a beautiful way in which I personally was initiated into her mysteries, and bringing it to the world, where all of us in our own way have been initiated into her mysteries. And by saying yes, and by following this call, magic is happening. And we are unraveling the illusions of believing that we're separate from her, and awakening to our gifts, awakening to our authentic nature, which is pure, which is true, which is immaculate, which is abundant, which is fragrant, which is peaceful and loving. And we all are that. And love moves, and we're here together, growing like the blossoming roses in community, and creating a legacy together. So I want to thank you for that, for following this call, and invite you, if you feel called, if anybody is listening to this that's not live with us, to come to our May Divine Mother transmissions series, because we keep growing with her. I keep listening, we keep listening to her instructions and keep receiving these portals, these fantastic, simple directives that lead us into the cave of her mysteries. So, with that, we invite you to join us and to grow in this ever growing community that is really contagious and sharing this frequency with the world in a time where it is needed more than ever to bring her love through us and to grow into our own love and share it with the world. So, with that, Monica, I'm going to pass it over to you because I think we're out of time. That went really quick.
Thank you. So beautiful and so many little just like pearls threaded through. So yeah, thank you for your beautiful share. And I just want to also say for anyone who doesn't know whether you're listening live or whether you're watching the video afterwards, Nina is really an impeccable channel for the mother. And the classes, like this was a kind of meet and greet, sharing about where this all comes from. But the classes are really a profound inward journey and really an opportunity to merge with the messages that are coming through Nina. And it's like, especially when we're live, there's like a magic to the way that it really has ways to unlock us and open us and really help us to commune deeper with that essence within and all around. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful opportunity. So we have a series coming up in May. And there's also very many recorded classes that are different meditations or transmissions from the mother that are accumulation of many years of doing this work. So those are available on the website. And then again, there's the upcoming series. So those of you who are watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description to be able to sign up for that. And yeah, just again, thank you so much. And is there anything else that you want to say, Nina?
Well, yeah, when you were saying that, I just kind of had a flash into what we do in our
Oh,
meditations in our classes. Can you hear me?
mhm.
Yeah, okay. But I had like a flash when you were saying it about being a channel for her. And really, when that happens, it's like it's opening up the instructions for the channel to come through everybody. And so we all become activated in that channel that comes through, and for everyone to go into receiving messages for their own life and to have an encounter with her and to recognize we're not separate. So it is really profound. It's like really to have the experience that's beyond just like receiving a channeled message. It's like there's a message that comes in a transmission through me, but through all of us. So, and then to have all of the reflections back of what's happening to individuals and to everyone as a community is really profound. So yeah, thank you for saying that, Mika.
Yeah, you're welcome. And also, I just feel like it's worth saying for people who are local, or sometimes we do it not just locally, but we do have rosary circles. That's really a opportunity to have the experience with the process that Nina was sharing about her instructions of learning to make these rose beads. It's like now we open that to the greater community so that everyone can come and touch them and receive them and then bring that out to the world in a really beautiful way. So that's also something that we do.
Thank you for saying that too. That's another thing I wanted to say. There was so much, but that's the next level that we've done is like, as we've grown in this, we're making the beads now in community. And so not only are we making the paste in a community, but we're actually the paste that is made, we hold rosary circles where people come, like Monica said, and we roll them and we really commune and sing and go into devotion. And that is a ceremony in and of itself of a connection with that frequency, with that transmission, and with that, yeah, that vibration really. And that touches our heart, where we have an experience with her in the way that I had when I first started making it. It's coming out on the scale of community, and now we want to bring it to the world to another level. And it's our charity project where we do our rosary circles and pray and sing and make these rose beads. And the next step this May, which is why we're launching and doing this series, we're going to be doing our trademark and actually making our rosary chaplets. And we've made some full rosaries. So we're going to be bringing that to the next level to really get them out to the world. Because the prayer has been, that these beads will touch people, and not only the people that own them, but just even the frequency being carried out, or people to see them and to feel them and to feel the fragrance and the frequency, that it will create a ripple transmission of her frequency and vibration. So yeah, thank you, Mika, for tying it all in. There's so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. It just kind of weaves itself together through us. So yeah. And I just want to say too, like what you said about how the ripple effect of the rose beads, it's kind of like the ripple effect of like your humble openness. And then it's like as you became the embodiment of the message, it's like each of us that then is drawn to that, we have that opportunity as we interact with her and then become, more true within ourselves. It's like that then ripples out to the world too. So we are the living message, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's true. We are the living message, and join us. It's so cool. Thank you, Mika, for sharing that.
So I think with that, we'll say goodnight. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Good night. We hope to see you on our
Yeah.
next series.
We love you.